Good morning, friends. I apologize if I'm a little bit late. I'm on my second attempt here with the YouTube video. There might have been some operator error in the first one. So we started around 6:39. It's about 6:48. So I hope you're having a good morning and appreciate you taking the time to be a part of this. My name is Patrick, and I'd normally be teaching yoga to people in a room right now, but this is a different offering of which I'm a part, and I appreciate you being a part of it in whatever way you can be. It's called, it's a long title for this YouTube video, but something to the effect of a self-love moment for healthcare heroes. And one of the things that I hear from people when I say I teach yoga is, oh, I'd love to try it one day, but I'm too busy. I don't have the time, or I'm not flexible enough, or I've got some injuries, or I don't want to embarrass myself. I mean, the list goes on and on for why we don't do yoga. But most people say they want to give it a whirl. So maybe this can be you just giving it a whirl for a few minutes when this video comes across your awareness. And if you take nothing more than it, then you've made an adjustment to your breathing and to your relaxation process, then we're right on the path that ever you need to be. Yoga, roughly, I'm not going to turn it into a yoga lecture, but it does translate as union or integration or oneness. And we're hearing a lot about that right now, but the key for integration, for being able to connect in whatever the setting is for us to feel internally connected and at peace and tapped into a sense of integration. So one way that starts, and an easy way, is not so much that we're trying to do something. You know, you don't have to reach for your head. We're not going to do a ton of stretches here. Yoga is largely breathing. And that's just a little technique we can do. We can do a stretch perhaps another morning, or if time allows this time. But just letting go of the resistance can be very helpful. So yesterday morning, I spoke about, my internal resistance to being a part of this project, because it's letting go of what I'm used to, which is connecting with people within a room and having a practice that way. And now it's putting it out there without really seeing who you're speaking to, and then letting it go and letting the video be uploaded somewhere, and letting go of that modicum of control that we think we have over how we're perceived or whatever we're offering people. So, it starts very early in our day. Like if you click on this and it says, healthcare hero self-love moment. And you might even start with like rejecting that internally, having a reaction like, I'm not the hero, so-and-so is. These people really do the hard work, and that's not me. So it starts with something really subtle like that. Like we think we're being humble, or we don't deserve whatever recognition's coming, even in just reading, is this for me because I'm not a hero? And the same can happen with, someone's calling me a hero. If they really thought I was a hero, I would be getting this level of support and this kind of attitude and those sorts of things. But they both do the same thing, which is if you meant it, it would be this, or it's not really me, it's someone else. Someone else is doing harder. Don't give me the credit. And I know that is prevalent in some of the helping professions and some of the serving professions. So just even letting go of that initial resistance to whether this praise or support from the community, this label that people might be offering me, just pushing that away, not pushing that away, can just relieve your body right there from being in resistance and being in sort of that stress mode that can really take a toll on our tissues. And we want to be able to take really nice care of our tissues right now, this petri dish, this internal culture that we get to participate in. When you're part of a larger system, whether it's healthcare or a community, a nation, a world, sometimes in something like this, you may feel like, what can I possibly do? Or I can't possibly do enough. And that mode of thinking that somehow we're not enough, that we can't contribute enough, that our very presence isn't enough, can actually be a portal into sickness, because we start to give up on the trueness of us just being present is powerful and supportive of whatever we're a part of in that moment. And at a time when there's a lot of low level and high level stress, just knowing that you can be supportive just by showing up and being present is very powerful. If there's one thing that takes us out these days, it's our mind. Sometimes you are out participating, you've got the proper protection and support that you need, but you still feel closed in and quarantined in here. And one of my yoga teachers says you have to access a power greater than the mind to change the mind. In other words, you might not be able to go right into the very thing that's creating problems, which might be your mind with certain kinds of habitual thoughts that don't serve you. So how do you access something greater than your mind? Because you've got a brilliant mind to start with, right? You access the breath. Because when you fully place your attention on your breath, you're able to transcend some of these cyclical thought patterns that take us deeper into hopelessness, depression, resentment, anger, or whatever it is that's not even working for us. But back to the resistance, the harder we try to resist those things, the closer it can kind of pull you into it. So why not start with something that is non-mental, but even more powerful than your mind, because the mind itself doesn't keep you alive. This does. And that's confirmed for us every day as we interact in this setting and see, in some cases, people who are struggling to take that breath. It's something that has a lot of fear around it, right? We've heard a lot of people say, that's something I don't want to get to where I'm struggling to breathe. It sounds absolutely horrible. But the truth is that a lot of us are struggling to breathe, even though there's no apparent condition keeping us from doing so. So I'll just offer in these few minutes an opportunity, or maybe these last 30 seconds, for us to practice what's called a circular breathing technique. This is available to you now or at any point throughout the day. It helps to visualize. If you can, you might want to close your eyes. Visualize the breath coming in at the base of the spine or your pelvis. Breathing in, you can do this through the mouth to make it easy. Draw the breath up to the throat and kind of circle it at the top, like you're filling it and spilling it. Exhale all the way out, and then circle it at the bottom. That's what I'm doing with my hand right in front of the pelvis. Inhaling, letting it come up. This is an awesome cleanser for your lungs, something that we all want to be doing more so lately. Breathing in at the base, and just the visualizing of the deeper, the belly breathing, drawing it up, exhaling, filling this container, which our body is, spilling it here, and letting out what we don't need can be very helpful. Continue with this for about 10 minutes, either now or at any point throughout the day, although your best shot is always in the now. And just see how you feel at the end of it. Let go of any tendency to try to look for anything beyond what's available to you in the moment. Just see if relaxing your shoulders and your jaw as you're breathing might be able to help you in the moment. Yoga isn't really something that you do on your mat or practice. It's feeling that sense of integration and union, at peace with what is in whatever situation we find ourselves, which might feel increasingly challenging to the mind these days. But you'll be able to find that you can breathe with what's there. And that doesn't mean you accept the whole situation and you're down with this if you see things going wrong. But even having a relaxed breath will be able to access this place where you can say, I've got some concerns. What can we do to care for ourselves so that we can care for others? I love a Mother Teresa quote, a good Mother Teresa quote before 7 in the morning. She said, I would rather make mistakes in kindness and compassion than in unkindness and hardness where I think I'm working miracles. I paraphrased, it's not an exact quote. So let's just remember that being afraid of mistakes adds to the fear that creates this load on the body. Being one with our intention to serve with kindness and compassion, even if something doesn't go as we initially plan, is something that we can all not just work with, but actually live with. And the best default we have to living fully, to tapping into the vitality, is actually noticing the very thing that's keeping us alive, our breath. Have a peaceful day and a gentle day. Gentle with yourself.